Welcome back. In this video, we're going to edit our add edit detail view so that we can actually start storing data in our database. So therefore, inside of it, I'm going to get started by creating a snack message. So snack message, which will be remember, and it will remember quite a bit, and that is going to be a mutable state of an empty string. So basically, the snack message is just going to be a little message that I want to appear here at the bottom of the screen once I add something. So I click on add wish, and then you see here wish has been created here at the bottom. So that's what I want to display. And the snack message is also the reason why it takes a little while until our UI moves over to the other screen, because it exists in this particular context that we're working with. Now that I want to do stuff asynchronously, inside of my add detail view, I need to have a scope. So val scope is going to be a remember coroutine scope. So now we can use this scope in order to run asynchronous methods such as storing data in our database. So the suspend functions, so to speak. Okay, so we have our scaffold, but we don't have a scaffold state. So the scaffold contains a bunch of details about how the user interface is going to look like. Basically saying, hey, I have the top app bar, I have a bunch of other content inside of that page, inside of that scaffold. And if we want to make sure that everything is in order and the UI is updated once something changes, we are going to require a scaffold state, which will be a remember scaffold state. Okay, now that we have those three things out of the way, we can use them throughout our entire add details or edit detail view. So where would be a few spots where we need that? Well, the thing is, we have this button where we said update wish, add wish. We did not include any of the code in there. All right, so at this point, I go down here to my edit detail view, and I realized that I had this add wish in the wrong spot. Actually, what I want to do here is say something like wish has, well, enter fields for wish to be created. Okay, so this is something that I want to display, and the cool thing is I can display that using my snack message, or like I'm going to store it in a snack message, and then I can display the snack message with a snack. We're going to see how to use snacks in a bit as well. So I'm going to set the snack message value to be enter fields for wish to be created, or to create a wish or something like that. Enter fields to create a wish. Okay, otherwise it just won't work. But here I have two options. So either I want to update a wish or I want to add a wish. So what does this depend on? Well, if I have the value of 0, then I need to add a wish. So the ID of 0, then I want to add a wish. Otherwise, I want to update the wish. So I'm just going to say if ID is not equal null or 0, which will be the case most of the time, because usually, well, actually it depends. So it will be either we want to add a wish or we want to update the wish. So here we want to update the wish, and here we want to add a wish. So in case the ID is 0, which means we come over to this page and we don't have a, we did not load a wish, so to speak, then we're just gonna create a new wish. So how would that work? Well, we're just going to use our view model to add a wish. That's how simple it is. So here we need to define which wish we want to add, and we're just going to use the title to be view model dot wish title state. And I'm going to trim it as well. So in case we have a empty space at the beginning or at the end, I'm going to get rid of it. And then I'm going to set the description to be view model wish description state. And I'm going to trim that as well. So that's pretty much it. And once that has happened, I'm going to also set the snack message, and that will not be inside of add wish. Let me see. So it's going to be outside of here, like so. Snack message will be value, and that will be wish has been created. Okay, So that's basically not a to-do anymore. We are adding a wish. So this view model is now taking care of adding a wish. We're using our wish object to pass that to add wish, and the wish object will get the title from our view model wish title state, this one here, which basically is already taking care of this field here. So this one here is taken care of by this state. So whenever we change any entry in here, this wish title state is being updated, and the same goes for the wish description state. So once we click in here and we enter anything, this wish description state is being updated automatically. So I can just say whatever this wish description state is, that's what I want to pass to my wish that I want to store in the database once I click on this add wish button. Okay, so that's what's happening here. And the same obviously goes also for the title. So the ID will be generated for me automatically, as we've seen, right? And that's pretty much how I now can create a wish inside of my database. So once I did actually click on this add wish button, I want to move over to the other screen. So where would I position that? So that's once I'm done with this whole code of the onClick event up to here. So this is the onClick event code. It goes all the way to here, and just still inside of the onClick event, that's where I want to launch. And let me actually get rid of a few lines so we can see it a little better. So this wish doesn't have to be this long. Let's do it like this. And now you can see that this is where the onClick starts and this is where it ends. And I'm going to use my scope, which, if you recall, is the remember coroutine scope, which allows me now to use coroutine methods. And I'm going to launch something that should happen in parallel. And that's something where we want to use, for example, our nav controller to navigate up. So our nav controller is going to navigate back up. And also, first I want to run my snack bar. So how can I display the snack message now? Well, I'm going to use my scaffold state with the snack bar host state to show a snack bar with my snack message dot value. Okay, so whenever you want to use show your snack bar, you need to do it on the snack bar host state, which you can run on a scaffold state. So the scaffold state is basically taking care of the state of everything that's inside of the scaffold. So basically we're saying we want to display this snack bar inside of our scaffold. All right, now before we can test our application, we have one problem with our scaffold state. So we do set up our scaffold state up here, but we're never actually telling our scaffold that it should take care of the scaffold state. So we have the top bar that we have designed here, but we have never actually said where the scaffold state should go. Now, before we start with the column, so before we end our scaffold description or like property setup or like the parameters here at the top, we can add the scaffold state here, scaffold state, to be our scaffold state. And this one here. Now, this scaffold state here, let me actually make sure that it is in the same, in the right line. It's the app bar view starts here. That's where the top bar. Actually, let's make it easier. We are just going to use it like so. Now, the scaffold state, if it's not accepted, then we're not using the right scaffold. So you see this scaffold here doesn't know what scaffold state is. So that means that we can get rid of the scaffold material 3 here and use the scaffold material without the 3. So import the function scaffold, and then I can use the one with the alpha 08. So now that should be good. So now I can use my scaffold state. I could have put it in here as well. That would have been fine either way, but yeah, it just wasn't happy with me using scaffold state with a scaffold in material 3. So they change around the API every now and then, right? So that's what happens. Sometimes they just say, okay, well, we're going to do it differently. But here we now have the scaffold state, and we now should be able to use the scaffold state to show the snack bar once we add an item and then navigate up. So it could very well be because I ran the application multiple times and executed this and it just didn't work because I forgot about the scaffold state. It could very well be that the next time we actually load, in the next video we're going to do that, load all of the entries that we have in our database, that this page here will be full of entries that I made. So let's go ahead and create a new entry, first ever entry after scaffold state. Let's see if I had any entries before that. I'm going to call this one description 2. Click on add wish. Now this will show this button here, or like this area here at the bottom, which is this snack bar host. And once the snack bar host is done, that's where it's going to get the navigation controller to pop the screen and go back. Now, if you don't want that, if you want to get rid of this whole snack bar host, that will make it easier. Then you can just directly go back. So that will make your application feel faster, I believe. So that's it for this video. In the next one, we're going to actually display the data on this wish list screen.